Greetings and welcome to MentorMe Memorable Moments. I have missed you. It's been too long of a week. I am glad you're back, and I want to welcome you to WLVS Radio, and they are hosting us at Listen Vision Live Studio, and you're probably viewing us through www.listenvisionlive.com or through our website, mentorme411.com. Welcome to 135 nations and all 50 states. We have an exciting program tonight. I am your host, Tracy Everette Duncan, and I know you're missing somebody. That's right. William Craig III, my co-host, who's always with me, is taking the night off. And so we wish him well. And hello, William. We know you're watching us too, but we're not going to delay. We have a program that is exciting tonight. And I don't want you to think that this is just a program for us girls. This is a program for the girls and the girls in your life and the women in your life, men. So we don't want you to walk away from the camera or walk away from the television. Just stay right there and listen to what we have to say. We've got Dr. Michelle in the house tonight, and she's going to talk about veggie steaming. It is like the latest crave, but it's been around for centuries. And she's going to talk to us about why it's important for us to do vaginal steam. And we also have Felicia with us. Felicia is coming in. That's Felicia Jamison, who is our certified healing coach. And she's going to talk to us tonight about getting out of those toxic relationships. So Felicia's up first. Let's talk with Felicia. She is debuting her program tonight, so we want to welcome her to the studio. Felicia Jamison.
Well, it is a pleasure to be here tonight and so excited. My debut show.
Yes.
So we want to just get right into it. And we're going to be talking about ending a toxic relationship tonight. And my whole goal is that I really want you to have a happy new year. And you're not going to have a happy new year if you stay in a situation where you're not being validated and loved the way you should be loved. So let's go right into it.
All right. Okay, Mike, can you throw up those slides? Thank you.
Next slide. The next slide. This slide is just so powerful. When you look at this, her partner looks very calm, but his conversation is actually giving her a headache. Communicating with you makes my head hurt, and I feel drained after you talk to me. And my question to you out there tonight is, have you ever felt like this? Mm-hmm. If you have felt like that, then that is one of the first signs that there's something wrong, because when we communicate with each other, we should not feel drained. We should feel encouraged. We should be strengthened. We should motivate one another. So if somebody's conversation to you makes you drained, that is not a good sign. Can we have the next slide, Mike? What is a toxic relationship? Basically, it's something with the communication that constantly, emotionally, mentally, physically, you're feeling drained. And that is not a good characteristic of that relationship. While a healthy relationship contributes to good self-esteem, good emotional energy, and a toxic relationship is very damaging energy, so you want good energy. Next slide. Signs of a toxic person. They are in your personal space too quick. They text and call you frequently. They can have a charming personality, and I really want to highlight that one. They can be extremely charming, but it comes and it goes, and it's actually manipulative just to get their way. They can be very evasive in answering your questions. They twist what they're saying, or they hide the truth. The bottom line is you can never get a clear answer. They're never wrong. It's your fault that blank happened. They are not able to take ownership to say, babe, look, I'm sorry. I messed up with that. Hun, I'm sorry. They're never wrong. They have few positive words or thoughts about you or others. And I highlight that one about not just you. So when they're talking about other people, notice the way they're talking about other people, because you're next.
Oh, wow.
You're next. they don't understand or respect boundaries, and they are the focus. They're narcissistic.
So when you're talking about this, you're not just talking about male-female relationships. You're talking about friends or family.
Exactly. It can be any relationship. That's a good question, Tracy, because it can be at work with their coworkers. It can be with that intimate partner. It could be parents.
Oh, wow.
The way we deal with our children. And I don't want tonight to be viewed as the toxic person is just a man.
Right.
I want to be real clear, because women
Oh.
can be toxic too. So it's not just that we're here sharing tonight so that a woman gets out of a toxic relationship. It may be a man
That is true.
who's in a
That
toxic
is true.
relationship with a female. So for the brothers out there, we got you.
Okay.
Next slide.
We're not one-sided.
To continue the signs of a toxic person, they play the blame game in an argument. This takes the focus off of their weakness, so that's a key point. They're extremely selfish in all relationships. Remember, their need is the constant focus. There's sarcasm, they're sarcastic in their conversations. And it seems like a joke initially, but they're really belittling you and others. They're not able to express empathy. So that toxic person actually lacks the ability to show you compassion. So that's a big one for people who want that loving, healthy relationship. You're not going to get it. They're toxic. They don't have the skill sets to show you compassion. And empathy is where I can put myself in your shoes. And I think to myself, you know what? I don't really want to do that because I think that would be hurtful to him or her. They don't have that.
Okay.
They don't have that ability.
Okay.
Next slide. So how do I know that I'm in a toxic relationship? Basically, the belittling, the constant belittling, making fun of you, and will ask, can't you even take a joke? Like, I was just joking. But those words are powerful, and words have energy. And so the words that they're saying can be very hurtful. They want all the decision-making power, all the control. And
So are they making these jokes that are cutting deep with a weakness or something, a vulnerability that you shared with them, or are they just making these flippant jokes?
you hit it, Tracy.
Okay.
A lot of times it's something, and you have to remember, the person that you are closest to, a lot of times we talk about pushing each other's buttons. We know what buttons to push.
Yeah.
Right.
So, yes.
Even when we're
Exactly.
healthy,
Yeah.
and or some people call it hitting below the belt.
Yes.
So they know your weaknesses. It could be something you shared with them that was painful, a painful experience, something that you fear. And then here they are making jokes and taking pot shots
Ladies,
at that.
gentlemen, are you listening?
Right.
Are you guilty?
It's not good.
These are the ones that sit on the couch and literally determine what they're going to do to you next.
Oh my.
There you go.
Right.
Bad temper, controlling by intimidation, feel like you're walking on eggshells. Oh my God, who can do that? It's like you come home or you get together with that person and you are literally like tiptoeing emotionally and verbally around things to not cause that fuse to get set. Like lighting that match, setting it off. Here comes that temper. We're going to talk about that some more later. But emotionally abusive partners, somehow it's your fault. They yell, they scream, and you're exhausted, trying to avoid those anger triggers. Some people call that anger trigger syndrome. Guided inducer, inducing guilt, agrees but disagrees with your decisions. And one thing that William said last week on the show was, don't give me a red light and a green light at the same time.
I remember that.
I was listening to that. I was like, exactly, because it brings confusion. When somebody...
Manipulation.
Yeah.
That's manipulation.
It's manipulation. You're giving me a red light, green light. I don't know. can I say that? Well, last week that was okay.
Yeah, that's right.
But this week is not okay.
Right.
That's
So that other
They
thing
make you
with the
think you
top,
crazy.
right?
Right.
Exactly.
You the one need the pill.
Right. And with that toxic person, you're constantly trying to figure out, what can I say? Or this was okay last week, but it's not okay this week. So so that overreacting, you're unhappy, hurt, angry about something, and the partner just doesn't care. And somehow your toxic partner finds a way to make this your fault. You can be in a situation where a problem. Next slide.
Come on closer.
And you can be in a positive situation where, they trigger things with you, and you're like, wait a minute, is this now my fault? What did I do? When it blows up, when it goes wrong, remember, they cannot take responsibility for what has happened.
No.
So it's going to be your fault that it happened. You get in an argument and it's like, well, if you had only moved that, if you had only cleaned that. No, there's nothing, a dirty dish, a shoe, or anything that gives your partner that right to belittle you in that way or to make those kind of jokes.
But you know what? This sounds so serious, like it could be leading to something else, like domestic violence.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Like it's, nothing ever is from 0 to 60. It's like a slow ticking clock going to that point. And then once you get to that point, it's like their anger and that short fuse can be from 0 to 60 with them.
That's fearful.
Yeah, and it's not a good situation to be in. You're not going to be able to rest well. The over-dependent partner.
But you know what? I don't mean that person no longer is pushing buttons now. That person is actually tampering on a very fine line with your emotions.
Exactly.
Okay, so now we have moved into emotional stress. Right.
So, and when you look at emotional stress, that's some deep stuff.
Yeah, that's very
what
deep.
it does to you, increasing cortisol levels in your body.
Exactly.
Which that can cause hardening of the arteries just because you're under this constant stress and pressure. So, we're saying toxic relationship.
Health issues.
And people think about toxins as, poison in the water, bad thing. But they're not thinking about when you are in a toxic relationship, that's like a poison that's infusing into every fiber of your emotions, your body, your bloodstream, everything is toxic.
Yeah, yeah.
Because there is no reprieve from that type of personality. Once they're in it, everything evolves around them. That narcissist, like one of the slides was saying. Let's go back to the next slide,
It
Mike.
creates a huge dysfunction in the body.
When you look at the user, one-way nature, you will end up never having done enough for them. It's like they raise the bar every time. If you did this last week, then you need to do more. And you need to remember that is just that symbol of control that they are working over you. Next slide, Mike. So a picture is worth 1,000 words, it's been said. And what I want to ask you tonight, have you found yourself in this situation? If I say no to sex, do you have to totally ignore me? So I want to deal with that. In a healthy relationship, everybody is not always on point and ready.
Exactly.
So if you're not, then that person should not use sex as a tool to shut down on you, mistreat you, talk to you certain ways, or just like, okay, I can't even hold you. And I know the thing, people say, I don't want all this cuddly-wuddly stuff. We want to get busy. And I can understand that, but there's steps to that. This is not, fast food service here. You've got to have, and I had a spiritual father tell me once, he said, sex starts from the time you wake up in the morning.
Yes, it
How
does.
do I treat you?
The touch.
What do I say to you? What am I saying to you throughout the
Yes.
day?
Right.
It's not just like, okay, 10 o'clock and bloop, but show's on.
I think they
Right.
need to tweet that.
That's
So
right.
that starts
at the beginning of the day.
Okay,
That's
tweet
right.
that.
You know. So back to the next slide, please. If we can't get on the same page ever, is it right to control my thoughts and desires? And when you look at this picture, you don't know who's controlled. Just both people are mad. And that's what that toxic relationship creates, is that even when you are the healthy one, you start to have a low line anger in you because you're faced with somebody with this growled look on their face every day. Everything is an issue. Nothing is okay. You can't get on the same page about anything.
But you know what? And it doesn't hit like that. It's a growing thing that happens. And then all of a sudden, the
Swells.
person does something and boom, you go from 0 to 60.
60.
Yeah.
And I call it the dance.
Okay.
You do this, then I do that. Then you do this,
Okay.
then I do that. Promenade, swing your partner, and do-si-do.
No, wait a minute. And then after a while, y'all start parroting each other. P-A-R, a parrot, like the bird.
Right.
Parroting each other.
Right. So,
Yeah.
you
Trying
know,
to outdo each other.
Yeah.
right. So it's like the dance. Next slide.
Wow.
Sometimes somebody is angry, and it may not be that they're extremely toxic, but this picture, she's in dreamland. She's in heaven. Her partner is worried, and he's thinking, if she only knew I'm about to get laid off. And I wanted that picture up there for our audience to see that, to say your partner cannot read your mind.
Right.
They cannot read your mind. They don't know what's going on inside of you. And you have to have those healthy communication skills to be able to talk to each other. But
Yes.
there's one problem that can come. If I talk to you, and I call it the tornado, and a tornado hits the house when we try to communicate, that makes the other person shut down,
Right.
whether it's male or female, because they're thinking, when I go home tonight, I need to tell babe this so bad, but I'm not going to. Because when I do, light the match, set it off, the tornado's going to hit the house, whatever you want to call it. And it's like, no, I'm tired. I worked all day. Nobody wants to do that.
Round two.
But, round two. But actually, we should be able to talk to each other and come home in a healthy environment and say, this is the situation I'm facing at work. And yes, I'm a Christian. I feel like we should be able to pray about it. Or if you're not, be able to get on the same page to say, okay, I support you. We're going to make it through this time. But the tornado should not hit the house. What do you mean you're going to lose your job? And then it's gone.
But you know, some people, the victim is happy that's happening because that's their out. It may take a little time to process, but that's their out. They're leaving.
Right.
Right.
Next slide. Does your mate just shut down and when there's a problem? And this picture is so powerful because you don't know where the problem happened, but there's the distance. You know, that is another form of control, that if I don't get my way with you,
Pout and
I'm
sulk.
pouting. I'm checking out. I'm not gonna, and that's
Oh, I'm
not,
gonna make you pay for it.
right.
Oh,
Right.
yeah.
That's what that's about.
Yeah.
I'm
Oh,
gonna make you,
now-
I'm gonna punish you.
Oh, you said that? You said that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay. Bet. Game on. Challenge.
Yeah.
Okay.
The game
It's a
is
secret
on.
game. It's a secret game, but that's
Right.
what
And
happens.
then the game plan starts where you're going to pay for saying that.
Yeah.
Next slide.
Yeah.
Can you communicate without anger? And again, I told the brothers, I got you out there tonight. I got you. When I look at this picture, this man look like he's saying, what I do now?
Look at her finger.
And that finger, she getting ready to lay it
Yes.
in.
Yes.
It's on, brother.
You know, and bruh, you know, babe, he just looking like, what I do now? What? Like, can we just talk? Can we just talk?
Yeah.
But sometimes we have not lived in healthy environments where we have seen parents communicate properly. So we learn you just let it rip.
Yeah.
Put the hand on the hip, and everything
Let that
is,
head
you know,
going.
and everything is going. And like I said, it can be male or female. That's that toxic person. Next slide.
You know, more is caught than taught. My pastor taught us about that. That is so real. It's not as much what you say, it's what you see. And you mentioned kids, parents.
Right.
Right. They mimic what they see.
Exactly. Right.
Even though you're teaching it to them.
And you think they're
is
not
what they
watching,
see.
but you know they
More
are.
is caught than
They
taught.
are. Next slide. This slide I have used in a presentation that I presented, and I love this picture so much. Healthy relationships. Your words inspire me. We make time for each other, and just hold that slide up there for a minute, Mike, because I want the people out there to see that. She is leaning into him. Her face is total elation. What I'm like, who is this brother, and what is he saying to her?
Right. Wait.
Because whatever he is saying to her, she is in happy land. She is engaged. Her eyes are engaged, looking at him. They're out having a nice lunch or dinner somewhere, and it's healthy. It's good communication. Next slide. Healthy couples relax together. And you know, I think you were touching on that a minute ago, Tracy, or when we were talking earlier. Sometimes you just need to be together.
Right.
Let's not try to figure out a problem. Let's not solve something tonight. Let's just
cuddle.
Right. Let's just cuddle. Let's unwind. Let's just kick back. You know, especially if you know your partner's been going through some stress at work, it might not be the time to try to discuss a major problem that you need to solve with your finances or the family. Just give it a little time. Next slide. Healthy couples laugh together. And I love the way this brother's laughing. I call it the Barack Obama laugh. You know how President Obama throws his head back and laugh. So we should be having some laughter in the home and laughing together. Next slide. Healthy couples listen to each other. And I think this is just that young love, this beautiful couple. He's got his dreads, his braids. She's got her little tat.
Yeah.
But the brother is just listening to her and caring about her. And I so love that picture. And so now we look at, well, I'm in something toxic. How am I going to get out? The first thing about getting out of that relationship is that fear factor. I think that people fear, I'm going to be alone. I'm not going to have any, you know, what if I walk away from this? Am I going to grow old and gray alone? I'm not going to have a dinner partner. I'm not going to have the movie buddy. But you need to trust your instinct and your gut, because we've seen things on TV where people stay too long and they're not with us.
That's right.
And you don't want to be that person. And so in closing, what I want to share is how to get out. You have to be willing to know I might be alone. And you can let that partner know, these are the things that I don't like. This is my expectation. And you do that calmly. And then you can take a 30-day cool-off period to get out, to see if things can get better. You can try to be together, but if it's not working, you have to go ahead and get yourself out of that.
I think you should tell somebody, because I mean, I'm sticking with this thing, that this thing could escalate and something could happen to you, male or female. Tell somebody what's going on. Trust somebody, just in case something happens. You know, they know where to start.
And we've heard that people have done that. You know, and sorry to say, but when you see some cases that end in murder, it'll be the best friend that'll say, well, she told me if something happened.
Yes.
But we don't want you to be that person if something happens. We really want you to go ahead and get out of that situation and be safe for yourself. And I was sharing with Tracy earlier that when I left the situation I was in, you never could have told me, oh, I'm going to write a book, you know. Oh, I'm going to design a fragrance oil that I've designed. And I'm going to be doing internet radio. You never could have told me those things when I left. And I say that not to lift myself up, but I'm saying that to say to the person that's out there listening that your next is out there waiting on you.
Yes,
the next things that you're supposed to do, the purpose of your life is out there waiting for you. And so, you know, we want people to get out of those situations and be healthy and live to carry out their purpose.
I think that's an excellent segment. We're going to segue into Dr. Michelle, but this is how you can contact Felicia. She's on social media. She has a website that you can register your email with, and you can also talk to her on Twitter at #Let's Talk Felicia. And we want to talk to you tonight at 9 o'clock. We're going to give you the number to dial at the end of the program, so you can talk to Felicia as well as Dr. Michelle and me. But let's get into Dr. Michelle's segment because it's just as intense. The importance of Vagisteam. Okay, Dr. Michelle, I don't know, we were talking on a conference call about something, and she mentioned Vagisteam and kept on rolling with the words. I said, whoa, wait a minute. You have to roll back because I need to know what you just said. So here we are. Dr. Michelle, tell us about Vagisteam.
Hi, y'all. We back another year. Isn't that wonderful? Okay, so first I want to say to Felicia, you know what? That was absolutely wonderful what you just put out.
Thank you.
And what I was thinking towards the end as you was talking, I'm thinking, you know, if first of all, when you get into these relationships, you really know right from the beginning whether or not this person is holding some of these qualities. They show. They could be very cunning,
right,
you know, and maybe not so forthcoming in the beginning. But just wait, and we ain't got to wait but so long before some of those attributes start coming out.
That's right.
Okay, and once you have made a decision that even though you see those signs and you want to continue into that relationship, when you get to a place when you stop serving your mate and your mate stops serving you, it is time to run.
Yes,
because a toxic relationship. Well, a good relationship serves one another.
Right.
And when we stop not serving or we stop making that decision that we don't want to serve each other, it's over.
Right. Exactly.
It's so over.
at that point, you're just making each other miserable.
But which
Yes.
becomes very toxic. Okay, so we're going to talk about the importance of Vagisteam. Well, this is one of Tracy's favorite. So here we go. The Vagisteam
Yes, it is.
Is known as the V-Steam. It's known as the Wound Sauna Steam. It's got a lot of other vaginal detox. Is another name for it. It's an ancient practice, so it's been around for a long, long time. The ancient Maya healers and the midwives, they used it for preventive medicine. Okay, and so back then, they called it a banjos or bejos, B-A-J-O-S. It's a Spanish term, so I'm thinking it's bejos. Okay, which translate to be vagina steam sauna. Okay, so its whole purpose is to aid women with chronic fertility, issues, and maintain a healthy fertility. So I do have women that come into my office asking me about the vagina steam because they have seen it on the website, or another woman that I've had that have had the experience have shared with them. And I'm telling you, it is a wonderful experience. Now, we talk about the toxic relationships. Well, unfortunately, this is not for men, but for women, because we hold so much of our emotional instability in our wounds. Vagisteam is so important. We as women, we hold so many, just like Felicia said, we hold so much within, in all our relationships, being mothers, wives, partners, whatever. And we hold all that emotion within us, okay? And those emotions are seated right there in our wombs, okay? So we talked about that last season when we talked about how all these issues that we deal with, they settle in the tissue.
Right.
Well, the womb is the most absorbent of the tissue on a woman's body. And the Vagistein gives a woman an opportunity to release a lot of those emotions. So let's see, do we have a any slides?
We have a slide that talks about how it works.
Okay. So how does Vagistein works? So while the woman is sitting on the pot, and there's a pot, and what happens is we have array of herbs, specific herbs that have healing powers or medicinal purposes, therapeutic herbs that are put together that will draw out these emotions and health-related issues by way of the woman's womb, aka vagina. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
aka vagina. So she sits on the pot for about 45 minutes, and just like she's have on this slide here, the herbs allow the vagina to dilate blood through the womb and release toxins. Now, for some women, they experience mucus. Okay, some women may not experience mucus. Some women, right there on the pot, will experience some emotional release. When I first started my personal session with the sauna, my experience was because I was in a toxic relationship. And I didn't know what to do because I had tried so many other things, being a naturopath. And when I was introduced to the sauna, oh my gosh, the next day I had such an emotional release, because the relationship had left me unstable. I couldn't think straight. It started affecting my eating. It started affecting my emotional state, of course. I gained a little bit of weight. I was nervous. All the things that, a toxic relationship brings to a woman.
Exactly.
I started experiencing some minor health issues. But when I got on the pot, it was a wonderful experience because the next day I got a clearing of the mind. I got a better understanding on where I was, and I was able to process in the midst of where I was going and what I was going to do next. So these are some of the things that myself and other women have experienced during the Vagistein.
So let me ask you this. Back in the 80s, there was, and I can't think of the psychological term, where women in their 40s and 50s were beginning to remember some horrors that occurred during their early years, their childhood, teen years of rape and molestation and things like that. It was like an awakening that they were having in their psychologists and psychiatrist sessions. So if a woman sits on a vaginal steam pot and these toxins begin to release within her, and clarity of thought comes, is her emotion going to track back to certain periods of time in her life where stress really occurred, tragedy really occurred?
I so believe in that. I believe so. Because diseases start long before the manifestation of them.
That's true.
Okay? And during the Vagistein, it releases all of that. It allows her to not only to relax, but it also it allows the womb to speak. See, because we hold all of our emotions in our wombs, all of our emotions in our wombs. We as women, we can literally put our hands right there in the wound area, be still and listen. And when you really get in tune to your wound and literally listen to what she has to say, she will speak to you and allow you to address all of those issues that you've been exposed to, or all those issues that you're going through. Ladies, we hold all the seat of our emotion is in our womb, and the Vagesteem allows that release toxic.
Now, we have a slide that talks about who benefits from this process.
Okay.
Mike, can you put that slide up, please? Because these are just the obvious. I want to talk about some things that are not so obvious.
Yeah, okay, so we already talked about the emotional. So who benefits from this process? The postpartum and post-miscarriage, the endometriosis, fertility, infertility, and contraception preparation, of course. The uterine fibroids, and that's very big. The ovarian cysts. Ladies who are suffering with menstrual complaints, painful and irregular cycles, and that's post and premenopausal. Dark blood at the beginning or the end of the menstrual cycle, because even after that, sometimes we still do not release all of that after the menses. So having a Vagesteem is very good for that. Pelvic tension, muscle tension, pelvic pain, uterine prolapse and weaknesses. I never can pronounce this name. The area. Okay, good, because I can never pronounce that name, so forgive me for that. The hemorrhoids, constipation, and emotional instability, that was me, and the reproductive scar tissues or vaginal tear. Yeah, so those are the ones who will benefit from the process.
That was
And
the
there are others.
endometriosis. The endometriosis. Well, in hearing you talk about this, I am a nurse and I have never heard of this in my life, so I'm just sitting here intrigued.
Oh, trust me.
Okay.
A lot of people.
I have heard, when people go through traumas, like they can have like a lot of back aches, but still that's connecting down in that lower part of the body. I knew about that, and I also knew that. Like if you injure yourself, muscle has memory. So if you start walking a certain way with a limp or whatever, you have to get some physical therapy and that kind of thing to kind of like undo even the way you were walking when you had a cast or something on. So I'm connecting the two dots, Dr. Michelle.
Yeah, but Dr. Michelle and I had a discussion, and those were the obvious. We were now looking at women who suffered traumatic incidents, and that when a woman is violated, the first thing she wants to do is cleanse her body, wash and scrub with Brillo pads and things till she's raw. We thought this would be a wonderful thing, or how effective is it for a victim woman to go and get a Vagesteem?
Very effective, because this is an internal cleansing. And for the woman that, well, you know what? Had I known, and I'm going to reveal some stuff about me, it's all good. Had I known that when my abuser many, many years ago, had I known about this, I would have been one of those women who would have ran, to the midwife or the practitioner who knew about this and would have asked for this, because it would have helped me. I really believe that it would have helped me psychologically. I think so, we can talk about it, and we can talk about it, and talking about it is good, because it gives us a release. But
and in preparing for the show, I remember you were saying with some of your clients, you even get them to do journals and.
Yes, absolutely. So after you have the work done, after you do the sauna, it's very advisable, and I always ask my clients, go home, wrap yourself up. Go home, rest, wrap yourself up. Don't expose yourself to anything that even looks like stress. And then the next day, as soon as you open up your eyes, begin to write out the thoughts, because it will reveal what's next. It would allow you to put out there what you're feeling, what you're experiencing. I mean, you just went through a cleanse internal, you know. So the wound is going to allow you to find out what it is that you need
Your
to do
body
next.
talks to you.
Your
It
body
does.
tells you everything,
Everything
and
that you
as
need.
a woman, we are so intrinsically, I mean, God knew exactly what he did when he
created us.
Man.
And a
He knew. And he knew that as a woman, we connect so well to nature. Now, so therefore, because we have a womb and we house the entire universe in our we give birth to the world. So what makes you think that we don't need to go down there and cleanse it because we are connected to it, because we've had so much trauma that has been dealt with? We have to get connected. So what helps us to get connected in cleansing, because it's just like everything else. You guys know I'm all about toxification.
Yes.
Okay, I'm all about toxic. You cannot start any other procedure before you detox you, your mind, your body, your spirit, and your soul. Our whole salvation is about detoxification.
Woo, somebody's
So
alive
you
up in
think
here.
that you should not be detoxing your womb with all those issues down there. You're not going to be able to deal with your toxic relationship if you do not get a clearing. Body, mind, spirit, and soul, and womb.
And you know what? I keep, this is also new for me. I'm just listening because I'm like, steam, what?
Your veggie.
But I,
You're
No, wait a minute.
You're Nana.
You're
JJ. I'm like, okay. But I do think about, I'm thinking about when we say, in my gut, I had a gut feeling. All of that is down.
Intuitiveness. And that thing is clogged. It is clogged.
Steam time.
It is stagnated. Steam time. I like that.
Okay, so now we looked at the woman who is violated.
Yes.
Okay, by no means of what she did. But then there are those who disrespect the womb by sleeping around and.
Ooh, get that slide. Oh, let us show you what it looks like.
Yeah, there is a sexual exposure chart that
let's
we
just-
need to have up, Mike.
Yeah, let's just jump right to that one because this one is going to blow your mind. There you go. You are number 1.
Yes.
Now look at you at number 12. Wait a minute.
I can't even count that.
Oh my gosh. So you wonder why. This is the reason why we need to have our vagina steamed. It is not going to hurt you. It is a wonderful opportunity to allow those wonderful herbs. Because remember now, everything in the garden, God is still made for us to use.
Well, let's put that slide up
So
again.
let's put that
Because
slide.
I want to say something about this slide that I'm going to do
Isn't
a
that
program
amazing?
on. Yeah, if you look to the left, you see the number of
Partners you have dealt with.
So if you had one partner, then over to the right, you're okay. One partner. You've
One
only
partner.
slept with one.
Right.
If you had 2 partners, then over to the right, you've actually slept with 3, although you've never met them. You don't know who they are because they have been in bed with your partners. You are now in bed with them.
And you have no idea what instability that they have going on with them.
Yeah. So
Okay?
this is
Craziness.
what I read, and I'm going to do a program on this. Is that the semen of a man, once it enters into the womb of a woman, it attaches itself to the cells.
Right.
Okay. And so it doesn't matter if you have broken up and you have left that
Still
relationship.
there.
20, 30, 40 years from now, that semen is still part of your womb. And so there are cases out there now.
How
where
many women
Oh, good Lord.
in
Jesus.
prison?
Because they went crazy.
Because they went crazy.
They don't
That's
know
right.
who they slept with. That man was bipolar, and
And
they
they have
have
been
it.
missed.
His cell is now regenerated. It's
Yeah.
part of her cell.
Yeah.
But this is what I want to say: is that science is now finding that couples who meet after having multiple partners, when they finally find each other and they meet and they engage in sexual relations and they have a baby, sometimes that baby could have the DNA of another man,
Oh,
and not the DNA of the daddy.
The daddy, that's
of
right.
of the man she married.
That's
the science
exactly right.
is finding that out.
That's right.
And also
It's
science
deep.
is finding that the cells they morph, and so you're saying today, and then all of a sudden you don't know why you do the things you do. Well, you
Yeah.
need to track the DNA back
Track
to that
the
man
DNA.
you slept with, because it's in his cell that's regenerating in you.
Oh my
some
God.
powerful-
So
Yeah,
we
it is.
say-
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, there was I think someone on the show back in April, they were talking about refrain from sex before
Yes.
marriage, and I think you even harp on that sometimes too. Well, we're not saying it just to be saying it. We're saying it because we want to protect you. This
Yes.
is what's happening. Put that slide up one more time, Mike. I want you to snap this picture, because if you have slept with a number of people on that left side, and then on that right side, it multiplies, it triples, it quadruples to the point where you've slept with so many people you don't even know why you crazy.
Yeah.
So let's do the math here. So if you slept with 6 people, you've technically slept with 63 people.
Yes.
Exactly. And
Yes.
you've taken on everything about them.
Yes.
Yep, you have taken on
Yes.
everything about them. So just imagine if that one person was some type of psychomaniac, klepto, something.
Oh my God.
Guess what?
You got a little bit of that too.
Yeah.
You got a little bit of that too.
And that's so thought-provoking.
But I wanted to go and look at the slide. I think we skipped over this one. Women should not vagi steam if they are. Mike, if you could find that slide.
well, if they're pregnant.
Well, symptoms of damp or moist
Yeah.
heat in the pelvis area, vagina, colon, etc.
So if you got symptoms, like Tracy say, symptoms of damp or moist and heat in the pelvis, vagina or colon, that's a no-no. Vaginal infection, candida, yeast infection, bacterial infection, and herpes outbreaks. Want to be careful. Extreme heavy menstrual cycles, which do not during your period or your menses. And if there's a vaginal infection, open wounds, sores, blisters, you don't want to do that then. And of course, ladies, if you're pregnant, or even if you think you're pregnant, no. Genital piercing, take them out,
Because the heat will.
because the heat will,
heat up
burn you.
that-
You want to
yeah,
be
yeah.
very careful. So during a vagi steam, we do this very mindful. It's a spiritual thing, because it's you and your vagina. When you come to me, can I talk about that?
Yes,
So when you
please.
come to me, this is not you and a whole lot of people sitting out waiting to get the veg steam. No.
I can't bring my friends.
No. This is very private, very personal. I'm not even there to, I'm not even there with you, just to assist you in the beginning, but, to give you instructions. But it is very private, very personal. It's with you and your thoughts and your wound, and you do what you need to do for you.
Okay.
At the end of this, if you need to talk about it, display it, cry, woohoo, boohoo, whatever you need to do, I'm there available to assist you through that. But it's a wonderful experience. It's even good for the menopausal woman. I do it personally. Dr. Michelle is menopausing, and I take advantage of it at least 4 times a year. Just for maintenance purposes, because as menopausal women, we have a whole plethora of symptoms, that we go through, and we don't know why. And most time they usually wind up emotional, so we deal with them. So I get on the pod and I just sit there and have a good old time with myself and release, and then I'm good,
So is this something that they can do at home, or should they come and see you, or search in their regional area for someone that does this?
All of the above.
Okay.
All of the above. But, you can call me because calling me will give you the opportunity to learn exactly what it is that you need to learn, because I'm available for that. Yeah.
Okay.
Call me up, at the end of the program, and we can talk about it and see if this is something that you would like to do.
So I know this is
for
popular
the local area anyway.
On the West Coast. It's popular in the Florida area. Is it popular
California.
anyplace else?
I've seen it in two places in the Carolinas.
I think it's
is
it Carolinas? Yeah.
It's in Charlotte and Asheville. I had to Google because I had never heard of this in my life.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's in Asheville, North Carolina, and Charlotte, North Carolina.
Okay, so those are limited areas.
Those are limited areas.
And we talk to 135 nations in all 50
There's
states.
my pot.
That's your pot.
That's my pot. Yep, it's a custom made pot. I had to search high and low because they are not everywhere.
Okay.
There are only certain one or two people out there that actually make the pot. However, and I'm gonna bring it back to me. If you decide that you want to do this at home, because you can do this at home in the privacy of your home, give me a call and I can tell you exactly how to do it.
Okay, so if they're doing this at home and then they experience those emotions, what should they do?
They can call me up and we can talk about it.
Okay, but if they can't get you?
Then let's see. Maybe they can, first of all, here we go. Pray. That's a big thing. Pray about it. Because prayer changes things, and we know that. And then you can possibly find a really, really, really close friend, someone that you trust, that is not going to be critical and judgmental, and talk to her. Okay, do not talk to, and I repeat, ladies, do not talk to your male counterpart. Do not talk to your husband. Do not talk to your boyfriend.
Why?
Because this is a female emotional instability. You tell me, how is the male going to understand what the female is going through? That is the reason why you got there in the first place.
Okay.
So you find your sacred person, female person. You find your sister girl who does not judge you, analyze you, who's got your really best interest in heart, and that you really, 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 really trust.
Okay, I got one more question.
Or journal it.
Okay, I got one more question, then we're going to wrap this up. You said that sometimes there is mucus that, so if a woman sees something coming out of her body, then what should she do? How does she rid herself of that?
Don't get frightened. Don't scare out. It is mucus. It is a release. Remember, you're cleansing in an external, you're externally, okay? And the fact that you are releasing is a good thing. And the fact that it may be mucus, or it may even be some dark blood left over from your last menace or previous menaces that has stored itself in the tissue. Because remember now, the vagina is a very, it's a soft tissue, and the herbs that are going to be used, and then you got to know what type of herbs to use, because you just can't use any herbs.
Well, they're going to call you.
Yeah.
And, we're going to be.
That's why you have to, because there's certain herbs that you have to use with that.
We're going to be on call tonight. They can ask all you those questions. You can also tweet Dr. Michelle with hashtag Dr. Michelle Help, and she'll be able to respond to you. But Mike, we have a slide, if it's there. If you can put that slide up with the telephone number, everyone can dial in at 9:00 Eastern Standard Time. Felicia Jameson, our certified healing coach, and Dr. Michelle, our naturopath doctor, will be on call to answer any of your questions and hear your concerns. And so I think that is us for this segment. And I'm looking forward to bringing the two of you back next week. But until then, be safe, be smart, and be healthy.
And be healthy.
Bye-bye.
Used to the beat of a drummer you don't hear and you can't see. So if I look offbeat to you, well, the problem must be you, not me. Irregular and never irrelevant.